What's up, guys? This is Dylan.
I'm Quinn.
And you're watching our special Loki coverage of the Loki show on Disney+. So, appreciate you guys. Why don't you like, subscribe, and hit the little bell icon.
Ding.
So that you know when we drop new videos or when we go live like this. I'd appreciate that. And when we drop new videos. I think I said that. I don't know.
Yes.
Anyways. I get super nervous right before we go on every single time. But yeah, don't forget to check out the website at www.broken.picturesnew.com. So been some internal debate, just like within me and a little bit with Quinn, just kind of bouncing back and forth. Like, and I've mentioned on here before, like, because I mean, okay, so. You could be super catch-all and just go broad audience and just not really get everything, or you can do super niche or whatever, however you say it, and get just like a hardcore audience, right? Well, we're just two guys. We're just two dads that like to talk about stuff and Marvel, and not just Marvel, but Marvel lately, and
yes, Marvel lately,
and. Because there's a lot of Marvel going on. Things are coming back and things are getting nuts. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. So, I just, we were talking about, well, maybe just a Marvel show or maybe just this. So I was like, man, you know what? Screw it. Let's just bring back the FOMO show.
Let's bring it back.
Fear of missing out. We just talked about what you miss out. What you miss out on this week,
Yeah.
And we'll just do it as much as we can and as opportunity arises, we'll do more. So, let's just take it back a bit, and
oh dang!
And we're back. So just like that, we're the FOMO show, but it's our Loki coverage. My Loki is a little off center, but
it's okay. It's still in the black.
Yeah, maybe I can do that while you're talking about something.
Okay.
Where is this thing? But anyways,
I believe now that all the dust has been knocked off and all that good stuff, it's time. This is your spoiler alert. Yeah, sound effects be rich. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about episode 4 of Loki. So, if you haven't watched that, pause this. Maybe. Can they pause? They can pause. Pause this, go watch that, and then come back. You have been warned.
Yes, you have. And the camera's in the way, so I can't see to move this Loki logo, and it's bothering the crap out of me because it's not centered. But it's there, so you know what we're talking about. So here we go. All right. And I hope you guys can hear the sound effects and everything. Everything should be working right. It looks like it should be. So, and this will also live on. We are now multi-streaming. We are on Facebook, we are on Twitch, we are on YouTube, and they will live in those places henceforth forevermore.
Unless somebody breaks into wherever the servers are and blows them up.
Because bad guys.
Because villains.
Because, gods of mischief.
Mr. Zuckerberg, I am holding your servers hostage. Right, yes, so let's go ahead.
Only bored. I wasn't bored in the darkness. I screwed it up. Anyways, go watch Bane Cat. I have to pitch Bane Cat every single time. But anyway, so this is what?
Before there was Facebook, it was me. I am MySpace. I can't.
You are MySpace.
You are MySpace.
Wow.
All right, let's
It's Tom. It's Tom. Oh no. It's Tom. I invented the social media.
Ow.
So welcome to the show. It's just going to be more of this nonsense. This is how it goes. It's like a live podcast thing.
Live
We're
podcast.
just chilling and talking. So yes, we are talking about Loki. But let me just get this out of the way. If you want to sponsor the show and help us have more opportunity or reach more people or pay for stuff, we'd appreciate that. Check out our Patreon, which is that's just the logo. It's not a link. Sorry. The link should be in the description.
Links in the description.
Yeah, if you want to help us out, we'd appreciate that. Thank you so much. We're not big time people. We're just normies. So
As I braid my beard on camera. Yes.
because that's what warriors do. That's what heroes do.
Warriors do.
So, without further ado, I guess we can get right into Loki episode 4, the Nexus event. And holy shitballs. PG-13, by the way. Whatever the show is, that's what the content is. So, man, what would you rate this episode? I know
1,000.
1,000?
Like, it was really good.
On a 1 to 10 scale.
I personally just enjoyed every second of it. I mean, I enjoyed the last episode and I enjoyed this episode because, I mean, with all episodes of Loki, they just pick up one right after the other. And I kind of wish, like, dang, I wish I'd not watched last week's so I could watch last week's and then go right into this week's.
Well, you still could. They're still there.
I could, but I've already watched it. I want to watch it again.
fresh.
Yes.
Yeah. So the people that wait and do it like all
Do it
together,
all
binge
together.
watching, they'll reap those benefits.
They'll reap those benefits and cry. Potentially. I mean,
I don't know. Like I kind of like the wait and week to week thing because you get to theorize, and that's where Mephisto came from
That's where
with
Mephisto came from.
WandaVision. Right now, I mean, now we're on Kang Watch, so
we're actually on King Watch.
yeah. According to that's what Nerdist is calling it, Kang Watch. So yeah, so here you watch the show. I'll watch all the other little streamers and their theories, and then I'll just present them to you. Here's what you missed out on. Here's your FOMO.
Ow. Every time that happens.
That's
Yes.
basically what I do on Facebook as a meme lord. I just, oh, wow, that's cool. Here, you take this. Share, share, share. That's all this is.
You shared a meme about stealing memes.
I don't work hard. I just care hard because sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring.
Don't work hard, work smart. Oh, this is Ghost. He's here, by the way. My dog. He's the mascot of the FOMO show, apparently.
Apparently.
He's always here. I can't get him outside the door. He'll whine and scratch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
What would you rate the episode?
oh man. So I feel like last week's episode took a step back, and it was like an 8 out of 10. It was still good, but it was more of a filler-ish episode. But this week was. Hold on. This week. It was a great episode.
It was a great episode.
If you could tell, there was light, and that was another special effect. Anyways, I'm gonna stop just telling everybody what's going on. That's like the number one rule for jokes is you're not supposed to explain your
Playing the
joke.
joke?
You're not supposed to explain your joke.
Tell joke and leave.
Excuse me. So yeah, this man, another amazing episode, ranked right up there with first and second episode. I think it's getting more and more wacky. I love the timey-wimey, just ludicrous insanity of this show.
Yes.
I think that's why this might be my favorite genre, because like you can establish rules, but because of the nature of the genre, you can still do pretty much anything you want.
Yeah.
Even though, I mean, there are some hints, like the whole scan for robots, or if you're an android in the first episode. So, I mean, there's little hints to kind of prep you, like, okay, yeah, we mentioned it, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But, which is great, is good writing. That's great. But man, the whole Wizard of Oz reveal was just like
So
my weird little nerd heart just.
Is that where we're gonna start?
I guess. I mean, that's
right. We'll start with the I guess one of the three big things.
We're just jumping in the deep end because that's what we do.
So the timekeepers, we finally see what they look like. They, from the get-go, I was like, dang, for this being Disney and a show, and for a show that's like literally movie quality, those things look funny. Oh, they don't look right to me.
It was like Bill and Ted.
Yeah.
Like with the.
I was like, huh, that's weird. That looks like animatronics.
I still
Why did they
dug
do
it,
that?
even though it looked.
And then
It was like super, like just like Brazil and Time Bandits, and I love it.
super a nice
Doctor Who, because Doctor Who was like a low budget show made for kids, and it was just like so awful, but it was so good.
So good.
Until Sci-Fi took over. Now it's better quality-ish, but.
But you can still go watch old Doctor Who episodes and be very entertained.
Tom Baker, till the end of time.
Till the end of time.
That's my doctor.
I'll be honest with you. The only Doctor Who thing I've ever watched was the Day of the Doctor, because I was like, this seems really big. I'm gonna watch this, and I was like, oh, this is neat. Look at all the Doctor Who's who are here. And it's like, yeah, but yes.
We used to have to get up Sunday morning early and watch it on PBS because that was the only place it came on.
That
before
makes sense.
BBC, we got it and everything.
That
But anyway,
sense. Yes. So, nice fight scene later. Throw a sword, which was very accurate. I mean, without magic, she just chunked the sword and took.
she has been a badass from a very young. She was grown man Judith.
She was grown man Judith.
Like
Took the little
Kaylee
time
Fleming.
thing and was like,
Dude.
Huh, I'm gonna go ahead and just leave. Thank you. I'll keep this.
Yeah, and just Renslayer's just like, like mouth hanging wide open, just like, what? And I want to say, just little bitty little Easter eggs through there with her playing with the toys. There was the wolf. I forget the wolf's name that Hela had.
Yes.
And then there was the dragon that Thor thought at the beginning of Ragnarok. And then I want to say there was something else, but A23, I think, was it A23?
Yeah, it was A23.
That was Renslayer's number. And that was a super hardcore Easter egg
Yes.
to Avengers 23.
Kang the Conqueror.
Is the I mean, do you want to tell it or
You know it.
okay? I'm just giddy.
He's giddy and beaming, and we can all tell. I think, maybe. No, I can tell.
Once again. But yeah, super hard. Pay some respects to Renslayer and that Easter egg.
For respects.
F in the chat. There's another one. Hold on. You guys are just gonna have to deal with me geeking out over these things and pushing these buttons.
Yes.
So, A23 is a reference to Avengers 23, and that is the first appearance of Renslayer and the first appearance of Kang. So, I mean, their appearances and their entire characters have been entangled from the very beginning. That's very purposeful choice of words with entangled.
Entangled.
Because of the quantum realm. That I will elaborate on later. But for them to choose Renslayer to be the judge and not hundreds other
Which there was a judge
judges
before her too.
Yeah, but I mean, if you look on like the Wikipedia page for Marvel, like the TVA has had several judges throughout the Marvel, timeline.
Yes.
So, but they chose Renslayer. That's a purposeful choice.
And she knows.
And then they drop
everything.
A23 on us.
And then we do fast forward into the future. Sword thrown, neck comes off, head falls. They pick it up. What is this? What a Chuck E. Cheese looking thing it is. They're trying to pass off as a timekeeper. And they're up there. Then Loki's about to spill the beans and do the most narcissistic thing of anything that he's ever done. We'll put a pause on that because then he gets.
I disagree. That's the most narcissistic thing he's ever done.
In the MCU.
No.
What
The
more?
very reason they found them was because Loki was falling in love with themselves.
Yeah.
That is the most narcissistic thing they've ever
Which
done.
goes by, yeah, because it's that. And then he was about to say, I love you.
Oh.
Yeah. So, yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Then he got pruned. And we'll get to that part later. But then, Sylvie got her, she got the thing. She grabbed Windslayer. And she's like, all right, what's really going on? And that's it. We see it.
Yeah, she's just like, kill me. Do it. Just do it. So is she a... we know she's a variant. We know, from her comic history. MCU Renslayer might be different. But in the comics, she was like a medieval princess or something like that. Kang shows up. It's like, hey, I love you. She's like, hey, screw you. So he destroys her timeline or her city or whatever, creates an apocalypse event. So she
has nowhere else to go.
She has nowhere else to go. And then
to him.
Yeah, and they end up falling in love, and she basically rules his stuff for him. And I don't know if it's Stockholm Syndrome or if we're going to play off of that or if it's legit because she was just swooned by his power or what.
For the sake of the MCU and the average viewer, it would probably be if they go the route of her original story, which with some of the TV shows, they have been. Like Isaiah Bradley showed up. He had his actual story that he was supposed to have. Who else from Scarlet Witch?
Agatha.
Agatha was who Agatha actually was, because it was Agatha all along.
Yeah, that was about it. Agatha Harkness.
Yeah.
All the other ones were Ralph Boners.
So that it always seems like there's at least a one or two characters in each of these shows so far that keep this is where they actually came from, and it's not spinning it too much. So
yeah, this is their opportunity to get nerdy and weird and test the waters.
Which is why some folks I've talked to said, "Yeah, I don't like these shows," and I'm like, "Well, that's okay. It's don't watch Eternals either because you will be
weird.
You're gonna be so upset you spent your money."
Oh man, there's about to be a severing of Marvel fans below the Mason-Dixon line with Marvel's creation theory coming with the Eternals.
Heck yeah. Y'all can't watch that no more. All right, we're not gonna.
It's made up. You can watch these other things. Lord of the Rings has its own creation theory. That is not the Bible. So
we're not gonna bring Desmond into it.
Sorry, Stephanie. That's one of our friends' D&D character that's super hardcore, white supremacist. It's hilarious. It's hilarious.
Yes. So, with that, where was I going? Yeah.
With that, we've just welcome. We're on Twitch and Facebook now, and everybody's like, nope, had enough of that.
This show,
Just like that.
more than any of the others we've said, you said in the past, is like rooted deeper in what seems like deeper in the MCU, like in the MCU's past, which is
comics
Yes.
history.
the comic history of it. But well, I mean, like comic history here, the MCU, everything they've done here, and Loki is the perfect meld of it all, because you have the MCU Loki that we've grown to know and love. We have a remix of Enchantress. We have Renslayer, whose backstory we don't really know yet for sure, but if it's just like a slight remix and all of this just is Kang stuff and he just might be doing whatever, then
We already know Kang is coming.
we know Kang is coming.
Hashtag Kang is coming.
Hashtag, well, which...
Just be careful with that. Is that what you're alluding to?
Yeah.
These are 13 guys.
So, I'm just curious of what her story actually is going to be.
You made me say that. I'm
What
sorry.
her story actually is. And I'm also curious if we're going to get the rest of Sylvie's backstory.
Yeah, I mean, the way Sofia de Martinez, who plays Sylvie, is talking is that she survives this series. I really hope so, and that she makes an appearance in Doctor Strange 2. Just kind of dip our toe in
You
Doctor
mean
Strange.
Avengers 4? Because that's what this movie's starting
Basically.
to be.
So, I mean, all this is coming together towards Doctor Strange 2, which is probably the big climactic event for this phase. Because we know in the beginning we had all the other movies, and then we'd have an Avengers movie. All the other movies, Avengers movie. And that's where we come to a head. Well, that, like you said, that's the Avengers movie for this phase, it seems like.
Yeah.
Because Feige confirmed he was supposed to make an appearance in WandaVision. Like all the fans and everybody thought, yeah, that was supposed to be him dropping hints with these commercials. And so much so that when like the timing didn't work out or something didn't work out where they couldn't do it, but he was, you know how in Fight Club there's like the little flashes of Tyler Durden. Mm-hmm. They were going to do that in the pharmacy with Doctor Strange.
Huh.
And it was supposed to be him trying to reach out and cut through the hex to get to Wanda to try to reach out to her. And it just didn't play out. So much so that they had to rewrite Doctor Strange 2 to where that, because apparently that played a big role in his
movie.
Yeah.
Which makes sense, because I mean, way back when, before COVID happened, when they announced all these shows, I remember there was like a press conference, somebody had an interview where they said you have to watch WandaVision first, Comic-Con, before you watch Doctor Strange 2.
Yeah, it literally leads directly into Doctor Strange 2.
Yep.
And we know we're getting all these other characters. Doctor Strange is also making an appearance in Spider-Man No Way Home, which is not dealing with the multiverse.
Okay. That's fine.
They're in complete denial, but all the proof says otherwise. All the set visits and all this other stuff.
They're saying no right to your face as you see Andrew Garfield walk behind him.
Yeah, basically. So Tobey Maguire has taken a break from movies for like 7 years. He's got one movie coming out right now, or soon-ish, and then supposedly Spider-Man No Way Home he's appearing in, supposedly, quote unquote. So apparently a fan went up to him and was like, oh my God, it's Tobey Maguire. Hey man, hey, I'm a huge fan. He was just like, hey, how you doing? And he was not being an asshole, which he's known for being. And so he was just like, oh man, I'm super fan of Spider-Man and everything you've done. Are you going to be in this movie? Can you tell me anything? And he was like, wink, wink. And so then dude posted it online, and all the other like nerd channels and web sites and stuff picked it up. So now it's like
everywhere.
Tobey Maguire's like, wink, wink, not in Spider-Man. So It's not. He's not. So, but then you've got Jonathan Majors, who is reportedly, or not reportedly, but is playing Kang in Ant-Man 3: Quantumania. When they asked him, he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, he knows how to play the game. He's not Mark Ruffalo in it, or I mean.
Do all the Spider-Men suffer from the same thing of like, I'm gonna tell you, but I forgot that I'm not supposed to tell you? That would be funny if they all had that
I know.
trait.
Emma Stone said she's not in it, which I mean that could go either way because her character died.
She could be Spider-Gwen.
She could. That would be amazing.
That would be great.
Please do that. Please
Yes.
do that.
I'd be down.
That would only make sense.
Yes. I mean, you know, if oh no, I always mix them up because both of their names are Childish Gambino.
Donald Glover.
There we go.
You were thinking Danny Glover?
Yep. That
For the
happens
longest time,
every
I thought Donald Glover was Danny Glover's son. For the longest time.
Grandson, maybe. I mean, he is adopted.
I mean, I'm just gonna put myself out there. Just because he's black and the last name Glover and he's famous, I just say 2 and 2 together.
I didn't think they were the same person, but for a hot minute, I did think you could just interchange the names.
Donald and Gambino.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But so yes,
I knew that before I knew he wasn't Danny Glover.
if Donald Glover happens to show up as the Prowler, I'd be happy.
And he's already been in the first one.
He's been in Spider-Man.
Confirmed his nephew.
Yeah,
We know that
confirms Miles Morales exists.
Yeah, he's out there.
So just show up as the Prowler, then die. I'll be happy.
Yep.
Because we didn't get with this iteration of Spider-Man. We're off Loki hard right now. This iteration,
Ish. FOMO. What'd you miss this week?
This iteration of Spider-Man, we didn't get the Uncle Ben death scene. So
For a good reason.
for a good reason,
Yeah.
we've seen it twice. We know what happens. So yeah, we understand. But if they did do a Miles Morales equivalent to it, if he happened to show up in Spider-Man No Way Home as a surprise character, and we get the Prowler as one of the Sinister Six for that, then they would be too close to Into the Spider-Verse.
Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, so maybe not.
Yeah, which I mean, Sony's got some hit and misses, but that seems super Sony to be like, oh, this works. Let's do it again. Let's do it exactly like that.
Yeah.
Okay, Sam Raimi, with let's throw 10 villains in Spider-Man 3.
If you have 10 villains, you need 4 Spider-Men.
Dude, they've been super hardcore trying to do Sinister Six forever.
And we
since the Raimiverse.
Because we haven't had besides X-Men, which doesn't count because that's how the X-Men work. We have not had like a superhero team of any kind. Of any kind versus like a true supervillain team. We haven't had.
And we know that is happening because of another thing that dropped last week, between our last airing and this week, the Shang-Chi trailer, which had the Abomination confirmed by Kevin Feige is fighting Wong.
He's
fighting Wong.
The MCU's right back
and
at
so it. Val, who was in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I keep wanting to call that Captain America and the Winter Soldier because he's Captain America now.
It's Captain America now.
So Val was supposed to show up in Black Widow and still might to recruit Yelena Bullock.
Yep.
Whatever her name
I know
is.
the name.
Yeah. The new Black Widow into her Dark Avengers or whichever their iteration they're doing. If they're doing Thunderbolts or Dark Avengers, there's only a slight difference.
You need Thunderbolt Ross to have the Dark Avenger.
Who is supposed to be in a after credits scene in Black Widow, but I haven't seen anything since the reviews. They had a de-aged Ross this was like a year or so ago when it was originally supposed to first come out. He was reportedly on set, and they were doing some de-aging with him.
So like
Because of back in time stuff.
okay, so like the
Because this one happens right after Civil War.
trying to think what the name of the thing is. So like the beginning of the first Ant-Man, where they had Peggy Carter aged up, Michael Douglas aged back, and I think he was also there too. No, Tony Stark, Howard Stark.
Yeah,
aged. Aged.
yeah, aged.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, they're supposed to. Things change, and even COVID put a big wrench in everything, and things have been crazy. So things have changed. And maybe he's there, maybe he's not. I don't know yet. I haven't seen it yet. I'm supposed to go see it next weekend when Black Widow comes out. But
That's all I want. That's the only scene I want from him. Him sitting there,
Oh.
he get a case of vials. Like, are you sure this is gonna work? Yeah, I don't know, probably. I was like, whatever. And then we just see him
Tim Roth going, do it.
and we just
he's
see
the
his
Abomination.
skin start to turn red and then end.
Hold on. I have a thing for that. Red Hulk all the way.
Yeah,
You got the red shirt on. You should.
I got the. But then you can definitely have the Thunderbolts versus the Avengers, or the Young Avengers.
Yeah. So just a little difference between the Thunderbolts are just a team of B side heroes, anti-heroes.
Yeah.
Anti-heroes put together by Thunderbolt Ross.
Tell me if this sounds familiar, as a countermeasure to the Avengers.
Basically, Sokovia Accords. We can't control the Avengers. They're doing their own thing, so we're going to make our government-ordained Avengers, is what that basically is. But then Dark Avengers is Norman Osborn putting together a full-on supervillain team posing
As
to be heroes.
Yeah.
So it's slightly different.
And he has his own Iron Man suit and everything, which is a hoot. How everybody can just have an Iron Man suit. But, yeah.
So, yeah. There's a difference, but we could go either way with this. But so basically, it seems like Val is the new Coulson for the Thunderbolts. I'm just going to say Thunderbolts because,
So, reverse Coulson?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's the anti-Coulson.
Anti-Coulson. There we go.
And so she was supposed to be in Black Widow. She did make an appearance and recruited
U.S. agent?
U.S. agent in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. She could very well show up and recruit. So this is how it ties all together. She could very well show up and recruit Abomination in Shang-Chi. Excuse me. Because,
hey. Alligator Loki is my fave.
oh, heck yeah.
Yeah. Big time.
Yeah. Right along there with Frog Thor.
Floor. Yes. So yes, implications for Black Widow, where all this was actually supposed to start.
Dude, I'm super excited. Things are like hitting the fan right now. Like things are finally starting to come together, and this Loki show just it's insane how all of this ties in together. So that's the long way around. All of this does tie into the Loki show and where it's going with the multiverse and all this crazy stuff that's happening.
Yes.
So we're not just going off on some tangent. We are, but it comes.
It was
back.
a rabbit hole that comes back around. We took you on a plane ride around the island. Now we're landing back in Loki Airport, and where did we leave off? Head came off at animatronics. Yes, and she asked, "Yeah, the thing." I said that already, and then that was it. It cut out. So that was. So yes, Renslayer is definitely in on it.
Yeah, she looked like she totally knew what was
She
going on.
knew.
She was hiding it. So that also kind of opens the question because there was a judge before her. What happened to that judge?
How did they?
And why
pick
does
new
she know?
judges? Yeah.
So we know that the TVA is huge. We looked out the window, and they're repeated, constant, just buildings, 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 forevermore.
Yep.
Right, just like in the comics were the desks. So is there a judge for each section, or is that where the variant Mobiuses are? Because we know from the comics that there are multiple clones of Mobius, right?
Yep.
And he also said, I don't remember leaving these rings here on when he put the glass down. She was like, oh, well, they're all from you.
Because they're just... So they all report to her. So she's the judge, has to be like the judge of judges.
Potentially.
Potentially. But everybody there is definitely a variant. And this is a lot.
Yeah. I mean, it does that pattern. Can we take that pattern and it's just playing out in every little silo along eternity the same way and just various forms?
Yeah.
Or are they actually different people?
Gonna say, well, a variant is technically a different person, but sorry, Ghost, but they're definitely, it has to either be they're all variations or it's all just the same thing happen, because everyone there is a variation. And I'm about to go around in a circle because I lost my train of thought. But I'm just trying to figure out what's the point of them of making everything happen over and over again, or do they just take the variants that they know are easily controllable, or like they can just easily wipe their mind and then go from it from there? Because they have to.
I mean, there's some super MIB stuff going on with the mind wiping and all that kind of stuff.
Because they have to wipe their mind for them to actually do what they need them to do. Then they plug into the thing of like, we just created you, now do work.
Yeah. And not to get too nerdy, but if go back and if you follow Screen Crush on YouTube, he's got one talking about Loki Born to Lose, and they touched on it hard in this episode and basically confirmed, because the Loki character is like, this whole show personifies Loki as a mythological character in such a great way, because like even like the original word Loki, Lok, in the Swedish language or whatever it is, means loop. And like when Thor was talking about in Ragnarok, where we're trying to grow and we going round and round and round with you, yet you seem stuck, you seem tangled in this loop. And Loki is constantly death and rebirth, reinventing himself, and some of that comes from just oral tellings before writing and all that, retelling in different ways and different Lokis and all these different versions of him. But also just his name being Loop and how it ties in with the TVA and the variants and all these different things. It's a great match for storytelling.
It is. It is. And it even kind of, I guess the best form of symbolism that they had in this episode of that was when he was put into the interrogation chamber, or the interrogation portal. Yeah. The red portals.
Welcome back, Lady Sif.
Welcome back, Lady Sif. It was great. She got to knee him in the nuts a lot.
And they upped the sound effects for the punches every single loop.
And it got Loki to the point where he just like once again just like broke himself down as like, yeah, I am alone, I am pathetic. And then to the point where even this time loop changed itself to where she didn't knee him in the nuts. She just said, yeah, you're always alone, and then dipped. And I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
Is that supposed to happen? So it's...
Yeah, so the reason we haven't seen Lady Sif since Thor the Dark World, if you count Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., some people hardcore do. At this point, we can say Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a variant because they don't seem... There's a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff with the the business side of Marvel and Kevin Feige taking
Whoa.
over and all that kind of stuff. The 1970 aesthetic. Yes, absolutely. It's amazing aesthetic.
Yes.
Peek below there. Yeah, if they don't get an Emmy nod for the set decoration for this one, man.
It's
Also, this
crime.
also, I know I'm super all over the place, but the cinematographer for this one has also been hired for Black Panther 2. They announced that this week.
Oh, it's gonna be good then.
Yeah.
It's gonna be pretty at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, just that scene where him and Loki are going back and forth and the lighting changes, and it's based on like where Mobius's headspace is and if Loki is convincing him or not. It changed. Man, that was great. But anyway, I forgot what I was saying.
Loki.
Oh, Lady Sif.
Lady Sif.
So I think we can call Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. a variant at this point.
Didn't
I
happen.
mean, Peggy Carter, episode 1.
Peggy Carter happened. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did not
Yeah.
happen.
Not to mention they didn't mention it and all this stuff. There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff going on. It is nixed. Kevin Feige has nixed it from the timeline.
Yeah.
And that's super meta with, he's basically the timekeepers.
Also, just because after Coulson's death, no one acknowledges Coulson is alive ever again.
Even though we did see Sam Jackson play Nick Fury on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Lady Sif on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Man
season
showed up
2.
in 3 more movies, didn't say Jack. Nor did Maria Hill.
So we can just assume that's a variant timeline. And all these other shows that got nixed, whether it be the Netflix Defenders or whatever.
Tear. I really like the Defenders. I mean,
Yeah, I do
folks.
too. And with this train of thought, we could bring in Charlie Cox as Daredevil and all this stuff, and still work
Yeah.
with this way of doing things. However, so anyways, the reason that she wasn't in Thor Ragnarok and or anything since Thor: The Dark World is because
Blind Spot?
yeah, she was in. Jamie Alexander was in. She had her own show that was like hardcore all the time working, and so now she's done with that and she can come back. She is going to be in Thor: Love and Thunder, and
Okay.
so she missed all that and she's coming back
I guess,
for it.
Yeah, him being alive doesn't seem to be canon. Because, I mean, you can go back to several movies. Any other time that they actually mention Coulson was just like Coulson's death or this thing that happened.
Yeah.
Even in Loki, it's like they came together because you killed Agent Coulson.
Yeah, I mean, they've basically come out and said it behind the scenes, but not in the show because, I mean, they can't really acknowledge that it happened.
Yeah. And also,
Oh, go ahead.
it's just the Tahiti project. If any other Captain America was upset when he found out they still had Hydra gear. If any of them found out they were like bringing humans back to life using alien blood,
Ooh, he'd be so pissed about Coulson.
yeah, super pissed. But yes,
Speaking of Kree,
yes,
the affirmation that they've had Kree and Titans and vampires
And
in the
Skrull.
TVA. Yeah.
but yeah, vampires. No, that's the huge one. We've seen all the other things. They said vampires, and I'm like, oh,
We know Blade is coming with Mahershala Ali.
we know Blade is coming. So y'all just be plucking random vampires out?
I mean, this is only the second mention of vampires in the MCU. The first one was, in Thor Ragnarok, and he was talking about it was the reference to What We Do in the Shadows, where he was like, if you had 3 vampires in close proximity, you could, that type of thing. So it was just like in a general sense. It wasn't like there are vampires.
Yeah.
So boom, Blade confirmed. Absolutely.
I'm ready for Blade. I want Blade so bad.
Give us Blade now.
please. I mean, you could have gave us Black Widow a year ago, but you were like, no, this has to make money. We have to justify making these movies with your money.
Yeah, there's a lot more riding on the movies than the shows, I think.
Yeah.
Because they know the shows are going to live there and they're going to just be rewatched and rewatched.
Yeah.
Not to mention the end credit scene for WandaVision that was remapped or re-edited this week because of Doctor Strange too. And there was a big to do about some little shadow coming down off the hills. They added some trees, kind of filled it out a little bit, and took some ducks off the water, and it just kind of polished it basically, because apparently because it ties in, and just like when episode 2 of Loki was airing, they were still finishing up the effects on episode 6 for Loki. So I mean, like, it's that close where they're putting finishing touches on it, and they probably just didn't get the polish in time, and so they just went back and added it. But there was a little issue where you know how it zoomed in from off the lake up to her sitting on the porch. There's a little glimmer of light coming through the window in the first edit that they just kind of edited out and covered to where it wasn't just not a distraction, you know. But they forgot to take that little cover out. So when it zooms back all the way in, that little cover is still like baked into the screen. If you've ever done editing before, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And so when it zooms in, that thing it's like right here on the screen, it stays there. But so it looks like this little shadowy thing is coming down off the mountains, and everybody's like, "Oh, it's Doctor Strange," but no, it's just a goof, and they'll probably fix it now.
Okay.
Just to address that real quick.
Over my head. All right. And the only thing I can add to that is, you know, they always sometimes, you know, you edit stuff really quick, you miss things like, you know, half a guy's leg or a coffee cup in The Mandalorian when they missed that guy's leg.
Yeah, and they just re-uploaded it without it. They just covered it in.
So things like that happen.
Yeah. Coffee cup.
Coffee cup. Oh, Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
How I hate the 8th season.
Yeah, and apparently Emilia, I almost said
Emilia
Clark is trying to bring that back up and blame somebody else, or just like get that pot stirring, get people talking about Game of Thrones again. Anyways, we're over it.
So, Loki. Yes, they've had several different types of creatures there. They...
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Which...
Yeah, Blade confirmed.
Blade confirmed.
I do have a question. I'm going to jump around here just because I got a list of questions, and Quinn was running a little bit late, so I'm totally going to throw you under the bus. So we didn't get to kind of like compare notes or talk beforehand. So we're just going to jump around. So why do you think Sylvia is a variant?
Why do I think she's a variant?
Because Renslayer was like, I don't even remember. Pulled a Thanos on her. It's like, I don't even know who you are.
She wanted to rip her arms off, but she couldn't. I think she's a variant simply because... And they reset her whole timeline. So that little... Hold on. This is real quick. That little tiny thing like resets everything in that area, or does it just reset that stuff?
I don't know.
Okay.
I assume it resets everything.
All right. Then she was living in a timeline where she knew everything, but she already confirmed that she knew everything because they told her that she was adopted. But you said she was playing with the wolves, which means she knows the story of how Asgard came to be. Hela was still around.
Well, I mean, that's like in their prophecies is Ragnarok and all that, so they know.
They know.
That's like their book of Revelation.
But everything was dead in the sacred timeline. Hela was sealed away.
That's up for debate. So there's a lot of theories about that. Sylvie said that it was just because she was born the goddess, but that's not necessarily true, because why would they wait until she was like 12 or 13 to actually come get her?
Because something else was about to happen.
Something else. I like so there's a bunch of theories like you just kind of touched on one and I lost that train of thought.
Hela?
Yeah, that Hela was actually I think before this week, some of the theories of her past were that Hela and Odin never actually stopped conquering, and that caused Odin to end up being killed. Odin and Frigga end up being killed, and so Hela raised Laufey daughter, and that's why because we know Loki can change form and gender fluid and all this stuff, and so instead of becoming a male because Odin prefers his sons, she was raised by Hela, and she became
daughter.
became a woman, became a daughter.
Whoa. I have a question. What? Time.
I don't know. We're gonna have to come back to the questions at the end. Otherwise, we're not gonna get anywhere. But we will come back to the questions after we cover the actual show.
Let's see. Like a silly with the yes. Her adopted mama's Hela, and Hela told her everything, or Hela told her.
Yeah, that she was adopted because Hela don't care.
Hela don't care.
Why would Hela hide that?
Thor's not born.
Thor may or may not be there.
May or may not be there because
whether Thor's, I mean, if Thor's, okay, so Hela, yeah, and if he was killed before Thor was born, then Loki still happened because found the runt,
Loki's
right?
Adopted. Yes.
But then again, why would Hela take the runt?
Because Odin only took him because it was the last wish of a worthy opponent.
Was it?
Yep. It's like even if you kill me, like at least let my son live and raise him in your household.
But he didn't kill him.
He killed his dad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, because Laufey was still alive. Mm-mm. Yeah, because in Thor: The Dark World, Loki killed Laufey. Because remember, he lured him into Odin's chamber so that he could kill Odin, but then he killed Laufey. And that's how Frigga got killed.
I have to go back and watch it, and then go back and watch Thor, because that's how it happened. Because it was like Odin was there, one eye, and then he took the baby and the thing, and the dude was dead on the ground. There was a guy dead on the ground at the beginning of Thor.
Maybe he wasn't dead. He just defeated him and just kind of took pity. Yeah. I don't know. Anyways, those are crazy theories. My theory, or not my theory, but the one I like is that in that moment where she was playing with those toys and she started to idolize Valkyrie and there made a decision that she would become a hero and not
a loser,
a Loki.
A loser.
And that's in that moment, that's when they plucked her.
Huh. Because she decided to be good. That's hilarious.
Which sucks.
Which sucks. Loki's, I guess.
Because I mean, think about the disdain that Morbius had for him at first, and was like, "Oh, you're just going around. Your lot in life is just to build others up, and you are nothing. You're nowhere. You're just a villain." So.
Something like the TVA. I'm still reading this question. But yeah, that would make sense too. For a Loki decide to be a hero, which then would bring us to what's the next one you have?
Oh, I forgot to mention this when you're talking about the Timekeeper's Chamber, right?
Uh-huh.
So it's like super MC Escher with like the stairs everywhere and all that kind of crazy stuff. But there was like this rune looking thing behind them. I mean, having that established in WandaVision, that could potentially be why there's no magic there, because somebody has already claimed that's their space.
So then the TVA is nothing else but then just a giant magic realm.
Potentially.
Made by someone from the 1970s. But we know it's not old Loki, or an old Loki.
Yeah, well, ish, because, okay. I guess we can go ahead and get into that. There's a big theory based on a comic that it's old Loki. So Richard E. Grant, who is billed as classic Loki because of the end credit scene, that he was going to play old Loki. Basically, same outfit that he had on in the end credit scene, mid credit scene. But in the comic, he was basically rebuffed by Frigga, and it broke him, and he was like, "Oh, I'm bad, so let me show you how bad I can be." And he basically realized that he couldn't do it forever, so he was going to bring up another Loki underneath him and break him. But what he ended up doing was making that one turn into a good Loki. And so it was kind of like, I think it's Agent Loki is the series that this happens in, right?
Yes.
And so he has taken over the TVA, and he's behind it, right?
Yes.
And so it's the same kind of plot.
Concept.
Yeah, same concept, and so it's old Loki that's kind of behind it, and that's why he's so averse to all these other Lokis, because he knows that himself is the only one that can beat himself, and so now he's chosen
because he's
Loki. He's chosen one Loki to
take up the mantle of him. Yeah,
but now confirmed it's not
the thing.
Yeah, unless it is old, because he wasn't called old Loki.
He wasn't called old Loki.
He's called classic Loki, and he's in the comic accurate costume that they love to
really
do.
Great. It was so good. Yeah, it was really great. It was really good.
We also got Kid Loki.
We also got another young Avenger.
Yeah, who was the one old Loki was trying to break in that comic. Yeah, who actually goes on to become, like you said, another young Avenger.
Yeah.
Which there's another team they're super hardcore building. And then we got Alligator Loki and what they're calling Boastful Loki.
Yes. I can't say the name in German. Because that's what the translation of is where they got it from. It was like the same thing with Sylvie's name. It was like in Italy when the name was first dropped, right? In the post credits or the credits.
Oh no, it was just in the no, it wasn't Italy. It was like, you know how after the Disney Plus credits, it starts going into like
the other languages.
Yeah, the other languages.
Okay.
It was just still in there.
Okay, so yes, that's the same for that Loki. But yeah, Boastful Loki, who has a hammer and is black.
Yeah, which is curious because it's a Norse.
Yeah. Most Norse accurate outfit you will ever see in the MCU.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
it's like that. Anglo-Saxons are like where white people came from.
So I'm looking at this like, what happened?
It's kind of like seeing a white Wakandan variant or something.
Oh, white T'Challa just looks like what Hitler was thinking of.
But he's got a Mjolnir.
He has a potential Mjolnir.
Yeah, which is like a piston and a train rail or something put together.
Looks more
John Henry type.
John Henry steel type thing than it would like a space dwarf building a hammer. Mm-hmm. I'm just upset we'll never get to see Morbius. I mean, we might.
Maybe. All right, we're talking about the rip. Maybe because comics. We're talking about the mid-credit scene. The pruning.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Loki was pruned, and he went to this in between. Yeah. It's hardcore New York. But if you look at the Avengers Tower, it's not right after the first Avengers. It's like after Age of Ultron, where. Because there's a deck for the
Quinjet?
For the Quinjet that was added, and it was that tower.
So, which means the prunings do either one of two things: send you to a timeline that doesn't exist and is not registered, or no.
Maybe it's an apocalypse that took place, but it's still kind of there.
I remember what my
or
other
maybe
thought
it's
was. Or you get sent to the end.
Possibly.
That was my thought last night. It's like, I wonder if he got sent to the end of the timeline, and now it's like it's
some kind of paradox where they don't know it's there, because when he first lands, he said, "Is this hell?" And that's one L. If you look at the captions, that's the Norse hell end of life or whatever. The Nordic afterlife. I'm stumbling over my words here.
It's all right. But yeah.
But so it seems to be like this in between. What is it called? Like between heaven and hell?
Yeah. Huh? Purgatory?
Purgatory. This type of purgatory-ish.
Yeah.
Type thing.
That all of the, but now I'm like wondering if like each variant has their own, because he ran in like straight up knocked out 3 Lokis right there after he wakes up. So I'm like, well, this is nothing but Lokis.
4 alligator.
I forget. I forget. Alki. That's his name now. I forget Alki.
Loki.
He's Ala Loki. Hell is cold.
Yeah, Nordic hell is, I think, is cold. It's not like Christian hell where it's all fire.
It's not fire and brimstone. It's ice and more ice and cold. And just cold. But yeah, so he ran to 4 Lokis. So I'm just wondering if each one is for each person. Like if you get pruned, you're just gonna go where all the Dylan variants are.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Or is that just where all the pruned people go?
Yeah.
Or just the pruned Lokis?
Just the pruned Lokis.
That's a good question. I would assume all the pruned ones go there, but that does raise a good question. If there's one that's all the pruned Morbiuses.
Yeah. And then also with that, I'm guessing no one has their powers here still, because if they did, for giggles, pruned Doctor Stranges, pruned Iron Man, pruned Bruce Banners, pruned, name somebody else, pruned Hank Pyms, pruned Lokis, pruned Thors.
Shit.
Like, all of these folks here all together, and if they have their powers, homie, how you not breaking out, making the timeline weird? So, I
mean,
so I have to think they don't have their powers.
Because we know the Infinity Stones don't work in the timeline or in the TVA. So okay, all right. I'm gonna jump in. Okay, here we go. So we're going super theory right now. Okay. All right. So TVA. Morbius. Time works differently here in the TVA. It's weird. Like Paul Rudd, Ant-Man. Forget his name. Scott Lang. What did he say about the quantum realm? Time works differently here.
Huh.
We saw Chronopolis.
Yeah. You think the TVA is Chronopolis that's in the quantum realm?
I do.
Okay.
That's why it's in the quantum realm, because magic, everything, time, nothing, the rules don't apply.
Didn't work right. Yeah.
And so the background that we're seeing, or the comic history of Renslayer running Chronopolis, that's what we're seeing right now. She runs Chronopolis, which is the TVA. They're one and the same.
Because they only call it the TVA. They don't call it anything else.
Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, what I'm referring to is, I want to say it was Ant-Man and the Wasp. When they were at the end, when Michael Douglas's Ant-Man was retrieving Michelle Pfeiffer's Wasp, they passed this little bubble that had a city in it. That is Kang's city of Chronopolis, which, so there's a whole thing with that, and you can kind of get into this too with you can probably explain it better than I can, with the Council of Kang and how Immortus is like Kang Prime, basically, and rather than just rule everything, he decided, I want to rule time. I want that to be my realm, and he cut a deal with the Timekeepers so that he could have Chronopolis and like this 7-year window of ruling everything or something like that.
Yeah, with the Council of Kangs through every timeline.
Yeah, so the Council of Kangs is just a shit ton of variant Kangs.
Yep, that all work together to make sure that all fireworks, that's what I'm hearing, that all Kangs are in charge at some point in time in history, but because everything leads to Kang.
Yep.
And then if there's ever a problem, Kang, whichever Kang it may be, or even the council will be like, hey, you need to go fix this before our stuff starts getting jacked up and yo should start disappearing. And then Kang, whichever Kang it may be, will be like, okay, fine. And now he has to go kill Iron Man. Or now he has to go make sure a dinosaur doesn't have an egg.
Because that's what Kang does. Basically, all the pruning and stuff like that the TVA has been doing, taking care of variants and like protecting the sacred timeline. That's what Kang does, except it's sacred to him because if it doesn't play out the way he wants it to play out, he
don't get
in
to
power.
do what he wants to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Immortus is Kang Prime. He's just the ultimate Kang.
Yeah.
And Jonathan Majors is playing Kang. We could see variants. He could show up. Even a different actor could play different Kangs.
Yeah.
And we could see Kang in this series and then still not have the same Kang
Later down the line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, or we could see him show up playing Immortus, and because that would make more sense visually for him to play the same. Even though we're totally throwing that out the window with the Lokis right now.
So.
But I mean, I think, like you said, we're these Disney Plus shows are geared more towards the nerd audiences and people that are more into this type thing. It's like, rather than reading like
it's more of a niche community.
Exactly. So that rather than reading like all the side comics, they're the people that read Civil War, like the big storyline, and they don't read all the side comics. And that's what these Disney Plus shows. They're all the side comics.
They're the side comics that then lead back into
exactly. And the movies are the main story. Yeah.
Yeah. The ones that you're like, okay, this is on my list, let me go get it. And then you turn out there's like a tie-in comic with another tie-in comic that has like a mini-series attached to it. And you're like, well, here's $100 I'm about to go spend. All right, here we go.
And then you can get variant covers and all this kind of
variant covers.
Gets crazy.
Yeah,
get expensive real quick.
Ask my wife.
Dude has a personal relationship with vintage stock where they just like put things on the side for him.
There was good comics. My wife gets very upset with me. It's okay.
You don't have to go into that. I mean, if you want to. I mean, the world will never know. So anyway, anyways, with the writers choosing Renslayer to be the judge and this character and Team Super Sus, like Team Super Sus, big time. Her being and her character is irrefutably tangled, quantumly tangled with Kang.
Quantum and
I see. I told you, purposeful language.
Yes.
Hey, Shayla.
Hey.
Quinn's wife just showed up in the chat.
Hey. ... F in the chat. I'm dead. But yeah. So
she's like, don't be telling our business, Quinn.
Yes. Kang, the Conqueror. He conquers things.
Speaking of people who are shook, Hunter B-15.
Hunter B-15.
She could not shake the enchantment that Sylvie had on her when she was kind of taking over her, and ended up helping her escape. And we got a beautiful little Blade Runner homage with Tears in the Rain.
Also, Hunter C-20 is extra dead. Yeah.
Dude, yeah.
So
when he zoomed in and it was like Renslayer, like, it's like, oh no.
Yeah.
I guess we're supposed to like put that on or something. Like, I went away. Some of these don't work.
She looked like she got caught with egg on her face.
Yeah.
In whatever weird technology. Their technology is weird. Like
Yeah. That was Renslayer.
I'm really trying to figure out how on earth all of this is supposed to work and why. All right, here's my extra theory of why it is the way it is. Maybe the TVA is just made from thrown away technology. But then also at the same time, not, because they have.
Oh, you're reaching for dog hair.
Reaching for dog hair.
Yeah,
but at the
they
same,
float, yeah.
but at the same time, not because they can like monitor the timeline, and they have the pruning sticks and pruning spears.
I don't know.
But I think whoever created the TVA just liked the aesthetic.
Very possibly.
In all honesty, that's what I think it feels like.
I mean, they had the same feeling about that time in technology as Morbius had about jet skis.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's so it's so perfect.
Because even with when we had the flashback of Renslayer going to get Sylvie, everything looked exactly the same. Nothing looked different.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, yeah. Because, yeah, time works differently in the TVA.
Time works differently in the TVA.
But that was definitely past. If TVA has a past, that's definitely past.
That's definitely the past.
Which yeah.
It's just
So
a weird
why?
aesthetic.
That's the only catch I have about Renslayer being tied in with Kang and all this stuff is why did she have to go through the ranks of being a hunter and all that, and they're a judge before her, except to maybe keep up appearances. But I mean, if they can wipe people's minds, why not just install her as in charge in the first place?
Because she didn't get there off the bat. What if the remix to her story is that she was, a variant that got picked up like normal or whatever, and then Kang then found her, and then was like, well, I found her, found out that he loved her then, and then was like, let me give you your memories back, or give you new memories, or whatever version of that there is, and then put her at the top.
Because they fell in love.
Because they
stuff.
fell in love. She's porking the boss.
I mean, like I said, like in her office, there's the two timekeepers on either side, and they're both holding tools, like, hourglass or something like that. And then in the middle, there's the main one that's just doing this out to her, like,
yeah,
that he's her tool.
And he felt like, yeah,
she's the tool of the timekeepers.
She fell in. She was
who are androids.
She's still a variant. Yeah, they're androids. Upsetting.
Sam was right. I mean, aliens, androids, and wizards.
That's all this show has been. All these 3 shows have been.
Yeah.
Dealing with either aliens, androids, or wizards. Dang.
Yep.
All right, but yeah, she was a variant. Variant end up falling in love with the truth, which was Kang, and then he's like, well, here's the truth and here's everything else. Do you still want to be here, be with the TVA with me? And she's like, yes, I love you. And then it's like, okay, you're the judge now.
Because what other reason? I mean, maybe they have mercy or whatever, but she literally let that Loki variant get away. That's been giving them trouble for how old? Because we know as Guardians, like, they don't age the same. They live for like thousands upon thousands of years, right? But Loki's not true as Guardian. However, he didn't know that. And so his timeline must be similar, because Odin and Laufey have been going at it for a long time. So Frost Giants, their lifespan must be similar to Asgardian.
Yeah, Frost Giants, they live a hot ass long time. About a hot ass long time. About the same as Asgardians, if not a little longer if they don't get killed.
So, I mean, she was a child. How long has she been running?
Like actually running? We don't have
thousands of years potentially.
Thousands. Well, she did say decades.
Yeah.
She did say she's been at it for decades.
But I think that's just a loophole in the storytelling.
Okay.
Because, I mean, do they age up as children quickly and then they're just adults forever?
Yeah.
Is that really how it works?
They get to adult age and then they're like 30 for a long time. We'll say 30 just because that's like the prime for any human's body. Prime-ish, yeah. Then after a few hundred years, then they'll start getting gray. But even with Asgardians, the one thing about them that is kind of neat, the older that they get, the stronger they become. So like old man Thor, dumb strong. That's why Odin was as strong as he was. But then eventually his, everything runs out and then goes off to the Odin Force. I don't know the same is true for Frost Giants though. So since he's not a true Asgardian, eventually maybe Loki will get weaker. But Asgardians get stronger as they get older. But that's a side note.
Yeah. But that's interesting
Yeah.
how that plays out and how long she's been running and all that kind of stuff. And we know they potentially don't age in the TVA.
Yeah.
Because they said that she had to tap into, for C20, had to tap into a memory from hundreds of years ago. So, but her memory was from modern times for us.
Yeah.
And so that's just how timey-wimey it is with the TVA. It's just outside of time.
Is it outside of time?
Yeah.
Is it outside of time? Or is it very far in the future that it seems like it's outside of time?
Okay, so, all right. So who would want to prune Loki's? Because they said that Loki was like the most pruned, right? Loki is the agent of chaos. He's the god of mischievous chaos. Like he introduces chaos and change. He's an agent of change, right? And he helps people rise to their better selves and all this stuff. That's basically what he does. And even in Norse mythology, that's the essence of his character. Because the TVA is super hardcore, bureaucratic, order, all this stuff, right? So Loki is the natural enemy to the TVA.
Yes.
So it makes sense they'd be pruning him. But who's in charge of the TVA? Who's going after Loki's? Because it seems like even with Renslayer going after young Sylvie, it was just because she was a Loki. It wasn't anything real. You know what I mean? No real reasons like she was going to destroy something or whatever. I mean, she only became that because she was on the run and
Yes.
angry, you know? So is it Kang? Is it the one, He Who Remains, which is the last TVA agent at the end of time that kind of creates the timekeepers, and it's like this thought, it's this looping thought loop thing. It's just circular logic.
Loki?
Or is it another Loki?
I think those last two are the same thing.
You think so?
I
That
think so.
Loki is the last one? Because he even said in this episode, we don't die, we just keep surviving.
Yeah. I think
How many times just in the MCU has Loki died? A lot.
a lot.
In the comics, a lot.
So I think
He's
it's
the loop, rebirth,
Yeah.
and being reborn and remade.
I think the main villain in here might be actually Tom Hiddleston. Like straight up actually Tom Hiddleston.
So we know that there are two scenes from the trailer that we haven't seen yet that really kind of sheds light on those things, with the mid-credit scene now where we've seen King Loki in Asgard.
Cloaky.
Cloaky. And instead of there, I think in Odin's chamber there was like these big hooks or something like that, but they're snakes in Loki's throne room.
Makes
And
sense.
So that's Loki's throne room. It's not actually him posing as Odin like he did before. So it's a timeline where he is king
Or he won.
on Asgard, or at least on a throne room that resembles Asgard.
Yes.
And then there's President Loki. And just the fact that he says, well, what did you expect in the trailer? Like, is that the literal last scene of the show? And they literally just showed it to us, and just because it's out of context, we wouldn't know.
Out of context, we don't know. I mean, potentially, if not.
Or is he just the king of this realm, or the president of this realm of the Lokis?
I feel like it might be that one, and then they end up coming, and then Sylvie ends up like coming to get him or figuring out how to get to him, and then she shows up, and then he's just like, "What did you expect was gonna happen?" Yeah.
I'm the superior Loki. Could you? Oh, dude, the chaos of
100 Lokis,
hundreds of thousands potential Lokis,
also
all vying for selfishness and superiority. And
to actually answer your question, Kang, that's the actual answer to a question, because if anything's out of line, one decision made different, any of that, Kang doesn't get the future where he is Kang the Conqueror, king of all, master of time and space, the guy who just walks around with hands behind his back, or doesn't walk because he can just float because that's what he does. Yeah.
so Kang is a scientist who basically got bored in the 31st century or
Yes.
something like that,
Real far in the future.
and just started going back and messing, and basically just perfected time travel. And
and fought the Avengers several times because the Avengers do things and try to make things not happen. Like, name any of the apocalyptic events where, like, Ultron ends up turning the world into Ultron world. That should happen, and if that doesn't happen, then Kang doesn't get to do his thing. But the Avengers are like, no, we're gonna win. And they win, and then Kang's like, no, stop winning. And he comes back and he starts to try to, he gets, Kang's petty.
super petty,
Super petty.
petty king.
Petty King.
So, I mean, that makes the most sense, and hopefully we don't get another Ralph Boner situation to where it's just. I mean, judging by these, the past two ones, it's going to be a which is totally why they're huge implications, but actually not really. We're going to cancel that, and by the end of it, we're going to wrap it up and no huge implications on the MCU.
It has to have huge implications.
However, Kevin, they've said that this one has the most implications
Okay.
as far as the timeline goes and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, judging by the other ones, it would make sense if we just wrap it up and it's just another Loki. Then we can set this aside and you don't really have to watch Loki to understand what's happening in the greater MCU. Outside of, Loki's still alive? How's that? Oh, he's a variant. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So they were supposed to do the Doctor Strange thing in WandaVision. They decided not to, or for whatever reason they couldn't, or whatever. That was supposed to have huge implications. I think they've kind of learned their lesson with people being kind of upset with the endings of the past couple ones.
Yeah.
That hopefully they really stick it this time.
Yeah.
And they say, you know what, we're just going to go full Kang.
Just go full Kang. And if y'all, go ahead and like, sorry if that made the mic do a sound. Go ahead and just, if they're going to do full Kang, we already got Kang confirmed. Go ahead, hit it with, throw the ball up, knock it right out the park, say, have Kang show up and it not be who we thought was gonna be Kang, and have it be somebody random. I don't care. Matthew McConaughey, he's not doing anything right now.
God.
Have Matthew McConaughey show up and he's Kang, and then that just goes right into the Council
Or it's
of Kang.
Mobius.
Or it's Mobius.
It's a Mobius variant.
That's
Their
why she likes him
special
so much.
relationship.
Oh my God, Dylan, what have you done?
Their special relationship.
Holy crap! Owen Wilson's Kang.
That's
Maybe.
why it's Owen Wilson, and not just because he's super folksy and
Not because he's super folksy.
trustworthy.
It's because he's a Kang variant. Oh my.
That'd be a pretty cool twist.
That'd be a fun twist. Because, this is episode 4. Every character we're going to meet has been introduced. potentially. Besides Loki variants, which
We've only got 2 more episodes.
only got 2 more episodes.
And according to Tom Hiddleston, this episode and the next episode are his favorite ones, where things just went wacky.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Time travel's great, kids. Well, what else you got?
I think that may be it. Let me double check. Okay, so Chronopolis in the quantum realm. That's the big theory that I like, is that the TVA Chronopolis are in the same location. The TVA is in
the quantum realm.
Yeah, in Chronopolis. And Kang rules over it.
Yes. Time mites.
Mobius, I don't think Mobius is dead. I think that we're going to find him in this in-between place.
This weird purgatory
Yeah.
that's somehow also an apocalyptic New York, which is probably somewhere around the end of time, which also, once again, if you have a whole bunch of variants who they have to not have their powers, because if they do, literally, you add a Doctor Strange to a Thor with a Tony Stark, they're building something to get out of there. Because Thor will just charge it. He'll just sit there. Ah! Doctor Strange, okay, here we go.
Or if it's because it's not actually protecting a you know what I mean, it's not for righteous reasons. It's for personal reasons. Kang could just not mess with them. Because like the whole Avengers thing, that was supposed to happen. Like, we just don't mess with those. We only pick on Lokis.
We only pick on Lokis.
You know?
And vampires and titans and
people who just can't mess with them. Can't really challenge them. Could you imagine if they? Well, I really wanted to see a Thanos variant come through and just
that'd be hilarious.
What?
He just gets a gut check. Get over here.
And then just like pruned. He was pruned at the door. Oh, I remember my other thought was, and I was like, this is I say it now, and it's like the silliest thought. What if this is where everybody went when they got snapped? Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Which would mean the Thanos from the other timeline that is also jacked up now, because no one's actually, we've not touched on it, that universe doesn't have a Thanos anymore. Or a Nebula, which doesn't change anything too much.
So that's that whole...
Yeah.
That's basically how they're going to fix all this.
Yes. So, yeah, the Thanos that got snapped by Tony is now in here along with the Black Order and his army, and they're just kind of there chilling, but they can't do anything because they don't have their powers.
Of course, they're not going to show that. That's all headcanon.
Yes. I'm definitely like just deep in here, which means for the 5 years, this is where everybody else was. They just don't have memory of it. But whatever. Yeah.
Very potentially. Yeah. So I think with this that we can kind of put to bed some of the other theories from last week about Loki having the time stone, and that's what he used to keep the building from falling. Mm-hmm. Because I think I even said it about some point that he didn't really have the telekinesis power before the Loki show, but he did. Thor: The Dark World, he blew some chairs away from himself. And so he had it. It just wasn't something he used a lot. And we've established that Loki can learn magic as well.
Yeah.
And he could potentially learn this enchanting.
No, he was
magic.
Dead. I was like, has he run into Doctor Strange in the MCU? He hasn't. He was dead.
He has. Loki did.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, he had him falling.
Yeah, he did. He ran.
He actually came to Thor and was like, "What's your brother doing here?"
Yes, I remember in Ragnarok.
Yeah, before Ragnarok.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Oh, that was the same movie? Ooh, that made my head hurt.
Been a while.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, before Ragnarok, I remember now. But yeah.
Yeah.
You could've picked some stuff.
So we know that, like he did with the temp pad, where he made it disappear and all that kind of stuff. When we saw him digging through the drawer and he had a time stone in his hand, and then it kind of cut away, but then we hear it drop back in the drawer. So there was a theory that he actually just kind of took it
Oh,
because he knew at some point he'd be
he'd
back.
be back, and he
Yeah,
could just.
he could, I mean,
In truth, he could have took all the stones he needed. He had,
Yeah.
he had every stone in there except the soul stone, which is very interesting. That
but
the
I think
soul
we saw
stone-
some later, maybe.
We saw a whole bunch of mines. I don't think you saw any soul stones, which that's a whole that could be a video in and of itself of why there is no soul stones in the TVA.
So that scene where he does the building and all the kind of stuff, like some of the sound effects are similar to them using the time stone in the past, but we don't see the eldritch magic that was used by Thanos and Doctor Strange. So that's kind of like
the green
synonymous.
circle.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
And that's
how
because
the time stone
Thanos.
works.
Yeah, exactly. Thanos doesn't use eldritch magic. That's
'Cause
just
he went
tied
up.
to the time stone. And we didn't see Loki use that.
So cool as it would have been.
Yeah, and there was also a theory that all of last episode was an enchantment. When Sylvie grabbed Loki, the whole thing was just to unwind his mind and get answers from him or whatever. But
No.
yeah, no. So I think we can put some of those things to bed.
Yeah.
Probably should have started with that, but oh well, it is what it
Ended with
is. We went super long on this one.
We did.
We've been sticking to an hour ish. But this was a big episode. There was a lot of things and a lot of implications that we're probably still wrapping our heads around.
For a long time to come. Well, 2 more weeks.
Yeah. So things about to get crazy. So thank you guys. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. And so if you guys come up with anything or you hit us, let's answer his question real quick.
Yes.
He says, I have a question. What genre would you class the TVA? Like a facility that deals in time and reality, but in a bureaucratic office nature, but with old tech like typewriters and 35 millimeter film reels. I mean, I would have to say probably sci-fi because Brazil is very, very similar.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole aesthetic is like Brazil and Clockwork Orange and that type of thing.
I feel like period sci-fi, but period usually means like medieval. But it's
No,
still-
not necessarily. Period
okay.
could just be something that's not modern.
Yeah. So I guess.
But yeah,
the
go
TVA
find
would be-
Brazil and watch that, and you'll see a lot of the same influences.
Yeah.
That's
But I would say
Terry
period
Gilliam.
sci-fi, I guess. Or whatever genre that actually is.
yeah, and it seems like the way it's being described on here, it also seems a lot like that Matt Damon movie, the Adjustment Bureau, which I never got around to watching.
Did I watch that? I
But
did
it's
watch that.
they're like the same-ish type
Yeah.
stuff.
It's like Mad Men with sci-fi, minus the Mad Men.
Yeah. I would say sci-fi because Fringe was also sci-fi.
Yes.
Fantasy usually deals more with like elves and goblins and all that type of stuff.
But you got several frost giants.
That's true. And Thor: The Dark World was totally elves.
Yeah.
Thor kind of marries sci-fi and fantasy. So maybe sci-fi fantasy.
The man's slogan is, Asgard is a place where science and magic are one. Sci-fi and fantasy. One.
Yep.
So I guess this is what?
Genre.
Because he uses
genre
magic
bending.
too. So this is a period sci-fi fantasy. There you go.
Yeah.
Period sci-fi fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
A
Yeah.
fantasy.
Very, very good. Very nice.
Okay.
You heard it here first. Coined by Quinn. Coined by Quinn, who is really good at coining things. It's where we got Grown Man Judith from.
Oh man, Judith. All
That-
right.
She's got the kid nerd crown for sure.
She does.
It's like Henry Cavill and Chris Evans battling for the nerd crown. Man.
And she's just sitting there waiting. One day I will come for the crown. When I do, be prepared.
For sure.
There can only be one.
All right, so we call it quits. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you guys for hanging out, and thanks for the chats. Words 789. Appreciate you. So we will now officially be on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch live streaming for the next couple episodes. So I mean, it kind of works out with the mid-season thing here.
Yes.
So if you have anything else that you want to reach out to us, do that on social media. You can find us on, you can find broken_social on Twitter. You can find broken_social on Instagram, or Broken Pictures on Facebook.
Yes.
And I think we're on Tumblr, but I don't really get on Tumblr, but it's just kind of feeds into that. Anyways, I'm going to let you guys go. Appreciate it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the little bell icon so you know when we drop new videos and when we go live and all that nice stuff. So I'm Dylan.
This is Quinn.
And we'll see you next time. Peace.